I'm here with Mr. Cvengros. Hi, Mr. Cvengros. How are you doing today?
How are you?
I'm great. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. First off, what made you want to start this project? I mean, what's the purpose behind this?
Well, the project, the title is the History in Downtown Warren. And basically to have my 10th grade history students go downtown and discover how the history of Warren relates to United States history and the close connection between the two.
Okay, so how does it relate to U.S. history?
Well, you know, one thing I had the students do, because with the project, it helps them to develop their powers of observation and their research skills. Also, along with that comes time management, self-discipline, and getting homework done on time. So all those things combined into this project. Now, with the Downtown History Project specifically, we have like the United States Post Office on High Street. That was a Depression-era project funded by, I believe, the Works Project Administration. We can go down to the old public library, which probably none of the students recognize today, but some of the older staff members might, as the old public library was a Carnegie library funded by Andrew Carnegie, where he would provide the funds for the building, as long as the community provided the money for the books for the library. You can go down to Monument Park, where you see all the monuments for the war veterans. From the Civil War, actually from the the Spanish-American War. There are two cannons there, along with the Civil War monument, which includes the major battles and I believe Trumbull County's participation in the Civil War, up through and including, I believe the last monument there is of the Vietnam veterans who served in Vietnam. So those monuments are also there.
Okay, and what about, I looked at the Pioneer Cemetery too. A friend of mine pointed that out to me. I had no idea that was behind the Red Cross. Can you speak on that?
Pioneer Cemetery is very interesting because most people do not recognize it as not even knowing that it's there. And it's one of the oldest cemeteries, if not the oldest in the city, where you have veterans even from the American Revolution buried there. It's a unique place with a lot of old cemeteries, and you can barely see at times the markings on the tombstones. Also included, though, along Millionaire's Road, there's some of the old houses, is the Harriet, let me see.
Harriet Upton House?
Yes, the Harriet Upton House, who was involved with women's suffrage. She was a resident of the city of Warren for a number of years. And along with that, you have the Sutliff Museum on top of the library. So just a history. The Perkins House and the many dignitaries that visited there, and some presidents that would also visit the city of Warren.
Okay, and what about the John Stark Edwards house?
Yes, again, one of the early houses in the city of Warren. Now that house was moved from its former location, I believe on South Street, to the current location there on Monroe. It has some of the early history of Warren in it also. And that's what, again, when we talk about the early history of Warren, we look at the Perkins Mansion, which is now City Hall, and its location, the Perkins family being one of the early families into the city of Warren.
Okay. And the Kinsman House, I saw that too. Is there any history behind that too?
Most recently under renovation, and I'm not sure, I haven't really looked at it, but one thing that's just been added to the downtown area is a marker on that the Underground Railroad went through Warren. So that adds to the history of the city with the Civil War time period, pre-Civil War. Using the city, the river, and its location, most likely going north, then following it to Canada, and obviously to freedom for many slaves.
Okay. Do you have any favorite historical landmarks that you love to talk about too?
Well, one that they recently put up was the Kenneth Patchen one in right behind going west. Behind the amphitheater. And Kenneth Patchen, being a graduate of Warren Harding and a noted poet, is one that I find interesting.
Okay, thank you for sharing your time and your information. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, and I hope it interests other students to go down there when they're downtown, taking a walk and seeing all the history in downtown Warren.
And he's going to share with us what he knows about the history of Warren. So Jordan, what do you know about the history of Warren?
Well, I can tell you one fact. Fact, Washington Street was one of the first streets in Warren to be built.
Is that the only one you know for right now?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Born in Connecticut in 1789, Judge Leicester King and his wife, Julia Ann Huntington King, moved to Warren in 1817 from Westfield, Massachusetts. He was one of the principal promoters of the Pennsylvania and Ohio Canal, which connected Ohio's eastern border with the Ohio and Erie Canal in Akron. In 1834, he presided over the first meeting of the newly formed Ohio Anti-Slavery Society's convention in Putnam, Ohio, in Muskingum County. Soon, King achieved prominence in Trumbull County and was elected as a judge, then an Ohio State Senator, twice nominated for governor on the Liberty Party ticket, while in the Ohio Senate, he was an outspoken opponent for Ohio black laws. Judge and Miss King built their house in 1828 near the banks of the Mahoning River along the right-of-way of the old Warren Ashtabula Turnpike. It is no longer standing. Judge King was an active Underground Railroad conductor in the mysteries of Ohio's Underground Railroads. Wilbur Siebert notes that on one occasion, Judge King was responsible for transporting passengers to Painesville. In the early days, Route 45 was one of the most active routes on the Underground Railroad. Known as the Warren Ashtabula Turnpike, from Wellsville, Ohio to Ashtabula, Ohio, it ran along this important route. Many runways found food, shelter, and safety from the many sympathetic abolitionists in Trumbull County who stood strongly and boldly against slavery and were not afraid to offer assistance when needed. Two of the most important factors that distinguish the Warren Ashtabula Turnpike as a significant part of the history of the Underground Railroad is its direct link to Ashtabula Harbor and its many agents and friends that lived along the way that were not afraid to boldly stand and assist in the fugitive slaves' stand for freedom.